What's up, Defy Nation and Highway for Health followers? Okay, so day 4 without internet. We left Peach City yesterday. We are somewhere in nowhere, Arizona, close to the California border. We are southwest of a place called Oatman and Kingman. We are south of Mojave Valley. Oh, I know, I am so terrible at these city names. It would just shy south. Total miles yesterday were 111.13. Just sheer exhaustion yesterday, and I couldn't make the video, and so I waited for today. And I hope that glare in the back of me, I tried to cut it down and put the blanket up there, but I know it's not totally covering it. Big story yesterday. Actually an exalting story, something that I will never forget. And I truly think this is one of the things that one of the times in your life where you can build character, and I think that happened yesterday for me. Roads in Arizona, awful, terrible. Oh my God, worst roads, hands down, worst roads. Arizona. I do not know what their funky little raised road. Yeah. The only way I can describe it is like rumble strips. It's like rumble strips that never end. I mean, you're just like, and I mean, these are big rumble strips, right? And my hands, they're so sore, and it's just from trying to hold on in the vibrations, and mile after mile, hour after hour, mile after mile, and it's just, Arizona, worst roads, hands down. Now, I also think it's been the prettiest state so far. Now, I haven't seen California, but there are some, Arizona is beautiful, and they think they have every type of mountain that there is in the U.S., all in one state. Got through, well, hopefully we're through, I hope we're through, well, we're probably not all the way through, the Mojave Desert, yesterday, tackled that. That basically started after a place called Kingman. It's funny with the roads. There was, when we came out of Kingman, there's this road called Oatman Highway, and it's nice and it's flat and even has a little bit of a downhill, and it says you're going into the desert, and you're like, all right, I'm going to make up some time, get in the aero bars, let's pump it at, high of a gear as I can. And you couldn't, because these my folks at Roasters and Bike Mart, I cannot tell you how much just sheer torture this bike has taken, how much punishment it's taken, and it's still rolling like a charm. Well, obviously we've had to retighten the bolts, I think, multiple times, but it's riding like a charm, and it's just taken an incredible amount of punishment. Big thing yesterday, and it wasn't the highest descent that I've ever done, but again, I think this is one of the building characters. So as you come through the Mojave Desert, first of all, it ain't flat. Second of all, there's more rocks than there is sand, which totally kind of blew my mind for a second. I've never been in a desert before, but yeah, that was kind of weird. Big rocks just everywhere. And so we were probably about, I don't know, a third of the way through that section. Got to a place something crossing, and I cannot remember. I took a picture of it, though. We took a picture, and I just needed to stop for a second, and we took a couple pictures, and a gentleman come out, and he's like, oh, let me take a picture, and blah, 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 and we did all that, and I said, what civilization is in front of us here? What are we looking at? And he goes, well, if you go another 8 miles, then you have this. If you go another 8 miles, then you run into a town called Oatman, but Oatman is really a ghost town, and there's not really anything there, and you're going to have to go past that. And so here we are, and he was explaining to me the type of terrain that we were going to have, and he was explaining to me, this road that we were at had like 160 some turns or something, like these real tight, like literally they put a road in the mountain, okay? Like you're riding on this road and there's no guardrail, there's nothing. I mean, it is sheer cliff. I mean, it is just no guardrail. I mean, just 2-lane road. I mean, just whoop, and you look down, you're like, oh my God, right? And you're just like, yeah, what's going on, right? And he says, you're looking at a 3,600 descent, and he said, I wouldn't recommend it. The headwind is really strong, and the headwind was strong. He said the roads get worse, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go as far as I can, and we're going to, just see how far we can get. And that's basically what we do every day. And so started to climb. And the other thing about the desert is there's wild donkeys everywhere. There's donkeys. I saw a baby donkey. It was so cute. A family of donkeys. But you know how they have like the cow crossing or deer crossing signs? Well, it's a freaking donkey crossing sign, right? And so, so we started up this ascent. I didn't know how high the elevation already was where we started, but started up this ascent, and already had a really good chunk of miles underneath me. I know that my legs are basically, spent at this point. If I get 3 gears up, I'm doing good. Most of my time is spent in the first 2 gears, and so, going uphill on a road that is not smooth, and so you have this chip and oil stuff, and then you have these, whatever the God they do to their roads in Arizona, these bumpy things, whatever, and you're going uphill. And any cyclist, if you're going uphill and you have a headwind, you have very rough roads, the last thing you need is some sort of another barrier, more friction, more of an obstacle to get you up. And kept going and going, and I knew that I was not going to make California line. We knew that. And so the guy was like, well, if you get to the top, you can see California over here and Nevada over here, and right in the middle, this is all Arizona. And if you get there, but I don't think you're going to get to that crest of that hill. Why? You can stay here tonight. You can hook up the RV. I'm like, no, we're going to press on, and we're going to get as many miles as we can and try to get into civilization. And so started to, go up, and he said, well, it's 5 o'clock. He said, you might have another half an hour of daylight. He said, and if you would reach the crest, then you have another 45 minutes of daylight because the sun disappears over the mountains. And so, I don't know if it was the frustration of everything that's happened. I don't know if it's the frustration of the roads. I don't know if it was just my sheer exhaustion. I don't know if it's just my what's beginning to be a loathing feeling for 66, because it's always something. If you don't have bad roads, you have huge mountains. If you don't have mountains, you have throwing rain. If you don't have throwing rain, you have heat. If you don't have exhaustive heat, you have freezing cold. If you don't have that, then you have these roads that are like, these poor conditions. It's always something. This road never gives you a break. The headwinds, just the headwinds itself, it never gives you a break. It never lets you rest. It never lets you have that. You never get that on this road, and I think that's part of the emotional, psychological effects of this road. Anyway, I was like, look, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy by the end of this video, but talking to the road, I said, look, you're not going to let me get to the border. I'm going to see California. I am going to set my eyes on California. And so we started up this 5-6 mile, up in like these corkscrew turns. Like you're coming up and you're just like, and it's just literally, the road is on the mountains. Just sheer cliff, no guardrail, just poof. The headwinds were strong, the headwinds were bad, the roads were rough, they were bumpy. The incline was sharp and was hard, and I kept stroking it. I just pounding it. And I think I was only going 3-5 miles an hour. I was struggling. And these people, it was so funny because they would stop like on the rims and they would take pictures. And I'm like, you guys are seeing people in pain. You shouldn't want to video this. This is not good. And so, I kept going up and I kept talking to the sun. And again, you guys are going to think I'm nuts. I'm like, don't you leave. I'm going to catch up with you. Don't you leave. And I kept cursing this road, and you are not going to win today. You may take the line. You are not going to take it. You're not going to take me seeing it. Today, you will not get this win. And just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And there were so many times where you wanted to stop. And Miss Pat, you have no idea how many times you went through my head. And, finally got to the top. Finally. And we have a picture with the elevation sign, and you guys will see, like, I'm literally in the middle of the mountains. Mountains here, mountains, mountains everywhere, and you're like, oh, look what I got through, oh, look what I got to go, and I just lost it. I did. I think it was just a lot of stuff built up, and I was like, oh my God, I needed to take a few minutes, just kind of gather myself, because I was just. To get a win on this road is very far and few between, and to get something where you feel like you're being challenged by everything. And I'm going up there, I'm like, come on, what other headwind do you got? Come on, will you have more potholes for me? I mean, honestly, you guys would have probably thought I was crazy, but it was just, I don't know, maybe it's the exhaustion, maybe I'm hallucinating, I don't know. And so the other thing is all them wild donkeys that are running around. So there's a story of Pablo, and if you guys don't know it, 15 seconds real quick. So Pablo, farmer bought him, worked him his whole life, overworked him, Pablo was just, treated mean and bad and everything. And when Pablo got too old, the farmer decided he wasn't even worth the bullet, so he threw him down in a well. And when he threw him down in a well, he kept putting dirt on top of him, and Pablo would shake it off, and he'd go around and he'd walk in a circle. Well, he didn't realize as he was walking in a circle, he was pounding the dirt down. And the farmer kept throwing dirt on him because he was trying to bury him, and Pablo just kept shaking it off and going around. Long and short of the story is Pablo got to the top of the well, and he just kept, whatever was thrown on him, he just kept going. And we were about up this hill now, maybe about a third of the way. And this one damn donkey, I mean, totally by himself, not in a herd, not anywhere. And I was like, Pablo! And, when, we got to the top, nice to send down. Yeah, I think if you had paddle brakes on the way down, it would be complete suicide. I was worried about the hydraulic brakes. We got almost all the way down. And there was another donkey. Standing all beside himself. Anyway, this road is hard, and yeah, so I will not forget yesterday. I actually took a piece of the mountain, and I know Wendy's like, oh dear God, now she's bringing rocks home. No, not just little tiny, just like I'm taking a piece of you. Anyway, so we'll post the pictures up, and yeah, it was just it was a good day. 111.13. It was a good day, longer than wanted, but it was a good day. We'll see the California line today. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of these videos up and go from there. So until next time, guys, motivated, dedicated, and highly recommended. Bye-bye.